Hey guys, Bob and I got together today.
Yeah, nice winter day.
Nice winter day, cold and snowy, nothing to do. We're going to discuss today making a day box. Now basically what we're looking for is we're going to the lake. We may be bank fishing for an hour or two. Bob's got a tackle box that about takes two guys to carry.
Seems like it sometimes.
And I got a whole boat full of stuff, but you can't be taking all that to the lake. So what we're going to do, we're going to kind of pick out a few highlights that we would take if we're going. We're going to fill up one day box and give you an idea what we'd take on a short day. So, all right, we're headed to a lake. What's the first thing you're going to take along and throw in the box?
You know, I've always liked jigs myself because I've had a lot of luck with them. My favorite's always been the Chartreuse. I might go with different weights. This is ounce and 30 seconds. Sometimes I'll go with ounce 64. I kind of like pink too, and I now run black, whites, and red and whites, different colors too. And I always like to keep a bobber around because sometimes if you're a little bit of a breeze, you put that jig on there and just let her bounce across. You'd be surprised how many crappie and bluegill take it. That's usually my first choice on a new lake if it's a smaller lake.
Right.
If we're on a big reservoir, I might go with something else.
Yeah.
But usually if I'm walking the bank, it's a smaller lake anyway.
We're discussing small lake around for us. It'll have some crappie in it. It'll have some bluegill. It'll have some bass. So you can be fishing for any of the three. So, all right, throw some jigs in the box then. That's the first thing.
Okay.
And when he's throwing that in, I'm going to kind of stay on the same theme, but I'm going a little bit bigger. He did the crappie bluegill angle. I'm going to take jigs on the bass angle. I'm going to show you three, and basically I'm doing a blue-black for those dark, dingy water where it's hard to see, dirty water. I'm going to do a kind of a green pumpkin when it's a little bit clearer. And this last year, I kind of came up with a jig with a blade on it. I made one of those, and I've caught a couple good fish with it, so I'm going to throw in one of those. So I'm going to throw 3 jigs into the pile too, and now we're covered with jigs, big and small both. What's next?
Well, I really like to worm fish. It's one of my favorite ways to fish, and I really miss it when we can't. This is one Don put me on a year or so ago. It's a garlic flavored ribbon tail. We get these at Bass Pro.
That's a 10 inch?
10 inch.
10 inch.
10 inch. We've caught some nice bass off these. That's one of my favorite lures. But also, this little lure here, it's a Berkley Power. It's a power lure.
It's a ribbon tail worm.
A ribbon tail, and I know it looks a little small, but I don't know how many bass we caught with this last year.
We cleaned house.
We had to keep some bags of them online because we would run out. It was just deadly last year. We'll see what happens this year.
Yeah.
The year before, it was this one.
It was that one.
This year, it's this one. So
Yep.
we'll just see.
All right.
And them are my picks.
And then you probably, in this case, guys, you probably can't put whole bags in. Again, we've got to stay small, so maybe 3 or 4 of each worm or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'd suggest a quart baggie. That way you can put 4 or 5 of each worms, whatever you want in a quart bag. You roll them up and stick them down in there, and because you're not going to have room for bags and bags of worms. And we're only going for a little bit.
Yeah.
You gotta small size down a little bit. All right, throw those in.
But the only thing is, don't just take one.
Yeah. No. Because then if you take one, you can't loan one to your friend when he wants one.
That's happened.
Yeah. All right, he's throwing his worms in. I'm going to do the terminal tackle that goes along with it. And basically, I'm going to do bobber stops and your bullet weight. So if I want to do it Texas rig and get her down there, I've got that. I'm going to do 3 types of hooks. I'm going to do just a plain old everyday standard worm hook. Usually these are a 3/0 size. But I got 2 others I use, and this hook basically has the spring attached to it, so you can actually screw the worm onto it and then hook him in that way. We like those. And then if I don't want to go with the bullet weight, this last year we really started using a weighted hook. And again, it's got the spring on it, so you can just screw the worm on, hook him in weedless, and then the weight is here. You don't have to have the weight in the line. So
That's really been a good setup.
it really worked well this year.
Really worked well.
We use this a lot this year. So, all right, so I'm going to throw these in. You throw your worms in. And we'll move on down the line. All right, what do you got next? What's the next thing you're going to go?
Well, I've always liked this. The chatterbaits have worked real fine last year. And towards the end of the summer, I had a lot of luck with a Chartreuse chatterbait.
Those haven't been good.
Earlier in the season, I was having luck with the red-white chatterbait. That's what I caught that master angler bass on.
Yep.
So we have this. this is what I really like, but I've got a various colors with me, and I would probably put this and a couple other colors in it with me.
There you go. Yeah, I have maybe 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Now, we should tell everybody, because I'll probably do a video down the line on this, we do kind of make our own chatterbaits sometimes. But if I'm buying chatterbaits, if I'm going to go buy one in the store, and I do buy them sometimes too, because we don't always make them, I like the Z-Man. That's the one I prefer. It's about as good a cost as anything else. And the Z-Man, I don't know if I did that to this one or not. Yeah, the Z-Man always comes with the blade bent. And there's some of them where the blade is just straight. I've always thought the bent blade lets them dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, they run a little shallow otherwise.
Yeah, and I like that. So the Z-Man, so if you're going out to buy, I guess my recommendation would be a Z-Man. And then whatever colors you need, so.
Yeah, well, like I said, they're come in various colors.
Early color, just got to decide what you're going to take that day. So, all right, you got that one to throw in. To stay with his theme, I'm just going to go spinnerbait. And we didn't use a lot of spinnerbaits this year, and that was probably a mistake. We probably should have. I don't think we use these enough.
Years ago when we first doing a lot of fishing, that's all we fished was with
That's all we used.
spinnerbaits, a lot of Mr. Twisters and things.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know why.
We've got, well, we probably got away from spinnerbaits because we went to chatterbaits. I mean, we kind of switched one for the other, and but we just haven't. And next year, I'm going to make priority. I'm going to do more spinnerbaits. I really want to do more. We need to do more. There's times this works better than that, and early spring should be a good time to pull these out. So I'm going to throw spinnerbaits in the box.
Well, we used to have a lot of luck with yellow Mr. Twister.
Try them again. You notice we're all using about the same colors here, aren't we?
Yeah, I've always been partial to chartreuse, though. I always have been. I think
it does.
I think it's a killer color, especially with crappie.
All right, what's next for you?
Well, and I really like crankbaits too. This is a short bill. They don't run quite as deep, and we've caught a lot of bass with this type and color lure. We've caught a lot of bass.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might go with a little bigger one, but since I'm going to be bank fishing, and I thought I would probably go with just the littler because I might be using a little lighter action rod or something.
Right. Well, and there's the case too. Like I said, from the bank, I know that's the one that square bill runs. I think that was like 2 to 4 foot deep. And that bigger one we do is the 5 to 6 foot. But you can get a little bit trickier on the bank, depending what the conditions are on the bank you're fishing.
Sure. But we both had really good luck with this color scheme.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing is on the bank, we've got a couple lakes we've gone to that's got a lot of the rock and the riprap. And the nice thing, and the one I'm thinking of here, basically you take that and you throw it and you bring it right back along the rocks. So you don't want it to go very deep because you'll get hung up all the time otherwise. So,
yeah.
But
I got hooked on these this year. I never was much of a crankbait fisherman, but you were catching some with me and kind of got me hooked to it. And man, I'll grab this pretty fast anymore compared to what I used to fish like.
It was fish with them or just to keep up sometimes.
Well, sometimes it's been there.
Hey, you started the year out, the first master angler of the year, and that's it right there. That's what we started with.
You're right.
That is.
It's that lure, come to think of it.
That's the first master angler of the year right there on that one. So
that was a good lure.
Which proves you at least didn't lose it during the rest of the summer then.
I know. I know.
There you go. All right. Square bills. To stay with the theme, I'm going to do lipless. And I like the lipless. I like the rattles in there too. This one has to be gold, but depending on the time of year, it's winter. Let's say it's the first thing in the spring. If we were going out here in March and April, if we had open water getting out, for me this would be red.
Yeah.
I'd be using red first. The bass are chomping down on those crawdads, and that red color is just a hot color for early in the year. I use this later in the summer. Your shad color would be good. I guess what you'd probably end up doing is just like with the square bill, you'd probably have maybe 2 or 3 square bills in there if we could get them in.
Yeah.
And in that case, I'd probably put in 2 or 3 of these, and that way you're got a little bit of cover for each one that way.
Yeah.
So, all right, what do you got next? We're gonna get the fun stuff now.
Well, frogs are a lot of fun.
They are black.
Especially, I know I said I would go with the jigs probably first, but if it was the right time of day and if everything was just right, I would probably go with the frog because there's nothing like catching a top water bass on a frog.
First thing in the morning, totally calm conditions, no sunlight. How could you not?
It's so much fun.
Top water and start.
And this is I've always been partial to this color. I think Don likes the black better.
I like the black.
I like this one, and I've got a black just in case he is catching all the fish. But also I got the frog with a popper, and that works pretty well too.
Those work good.
And that's it's just a lot of fun fishing with frogs.
Well,
Not much I can say.
You know, and that popper works real well if you got a little bit of chop in the water.
Sure, yeah.
When it's totally calm, that popper might be a little too loud.
Yeah.
But and the others work real well. But yeah, if there's a little bit of chop in the water, the popper's a good frog to run to.
In fact, we went to Sand Hills last year, and we had so much fun with these frogs.
It was
So
fun.
much fun with these frogs.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we caught everything on.
Sure.
And they were up on that flooded cover, and we just
It was a ball.
We had a ball.
It was a lot of fun. Wow.
All right, so we're throwing in a few frogs, and to stay with the top water, I've got to. I'm going to go with the noisy one. I'm going to go with the Whopper Plopper. Now,
Man,
I'd never done anything with these until this year, and actually it was the one day when you were late getting there. You had to wait to. He had family who was leaving, so he had to stick around for a few minutes. I was the lake, maybe 45 minutes before him. I probably had caught 6 fish on one of these in the first 30 minutes I was on the lake, and I thought, I gotta have another one of these.
yeah,
I gotta
I'm
have
going to
more of
buy
these.
one this year, too.
So I bought 2 new ones this year, and this year I would probably throw 2 in the box, and one's going to be the regular Whopper Plopper, but now I've picked up one the other day that's got the rattles in them.
Oh.
So I would probably take a regular Whopper Plopper, and then I'll take one with the rattles. So I'd take 2 of those, but they are, I don't know, between that and the frogs, I could just,
Well, I'll have a few of them in my tackle box next year.
they were worth it.
Yeah.
So, all right, what are we going to do next? We got one more thing?
Well, you know, these are kind of go with the plastics, the plastic worms, but they're crawdads, but you can fish them just single, like with a plastic worm, or you can hook them up with your chatterbaits or your jigs, too.
Gotta have,
So there's quite a bit of versatility with these.
gotta have a few of those in there.
And you got different colors, and I always kind of like this color. I've had some luck with that color, maybe because it's the color and it's a crawdad color. But I've had some luck with that.
Early in the spring, I've had a lot of good luck with that early in the spring. So that's worked real well with that.
But that's probably what I've finished. If I haven't caught anything after all this,
Time to go
I
home.
probably, maybe then I start with the jigs again.
It's all over again. All right, to go on with the crawdads, we're gonna go one other thing quick, and we're gonna do swim baits. And basically, there's so many different styles. They usually have the paddle tail on them, colors, styles. Some do not. Basically, I'm fishing these with the same hook that we're using for the worms. Now, depending on the size, this is a little bit bigger hook for weight. I think this is a 1/4. Those are 1/8 ounce I did earlier. But the nice thing is I can fish with the weighted hook on here. I can fish a swim bait. I can come back and fish a crawdad, or you can come back and fish the worm. So that's kind of nice. Instead of Texas rigging, go with the weighted hook instead, and you can fish all 3 of these without ever having to change anything.
Yeah.
So swim baits are another one we like to throw in, and that'll pretty much start to get it filled up. As we said, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 of each thing, whatever you think you can fit in. You can only get so much in the box.
Well, yeah, I mean, and of course, right now Don's got his stuff in there. I've got my stuff in there. If it was mine, I would have more jigs, more chatterbaits,
Right.
and more plastics and stuff.
More- what-
Don
what
would have,
you like to
and you
use.
have more of the stuff you like
Yeah,
to fish.
yeah.
You know, we've been fishing together for probably 50 years, but we fish different.
Yeah.
I mean, we fish similar, but we kind of. I'm more into like plastics and different things, and you just seem like you're more into the harder baits a little bit.
I do more
And
of the
I'm-
cranks than that.
I mean,
yeah.
I get pretty stubborn with my plastic worms sometimes. You'll be catching some fish, and I'll just be
You'll
beating the
quit.
water.
Yeah.
But we're still having fun.
We're
And that's
still
what
having fun.
that's what the bottom line is: getting out and having a good time.
It is. But this ought to give you an idea, guys. With a box like this, if you take some of what he's been putting in, you take some of what I've been putting in, you'd have a pretty good box. It'd last you during the day on the lake, and if, like I said, if you'd catch some fish with what's in there, that's for sure.
Oh, you sure would.
Now-
you sure would.
You'd probably take 2 or 3 rods. I mean, you don't want to go too heavy because you don't want to carry much, but
Well, if I was walking the bank, I would take a bait caster, and I would probably take my spinning rod.
take the spinner. Okay,
Because that's a little lighter, and it'll throw my jigs, and it'll throw the heavier baits if I have to, too.
there you go. And I don't even have a spinner. I don't even use. I do all bait cast, and which is why he put the little jigs in, and I put the big jigs
Yeah.
in because I don't. I would go with 2 rods also on my bait cast, and my deal, what I would use, one would be with braid, and one would be a fluorocarbon. That way the fluorocarbon is going to work for the chatterbait, the crankbaits, and anything I want, the jigs, what I want for depth, and then the braid is going to work for the topwater, the worms and stuff like that. And he and I are the same on one thing. When we buy braid, it's high visibility
Oh, yeah.
because the eyes aren't as good as they used to be, and we kind of
Yeah,
need the high
right.
visibility to see what's going on anymore. So,
Yeah.
but there you go. You got a box like this. That ought to cover you for a day at the lake. A couple fishing rods, and you ought to be covered. Have a good time.
Yeah. Have a real good time. I can't wait, Don.
I can't. It springs a long way off. And doing stuff like this doesn't
Yeah.
make it come any sooner.
No, it
so,
don't.
hey guys, thanks for sticking with us. Subscribe to our channel if you would. Hope to see you again real soon.
Yeah.